Hi, this is Jamie Diaz with Barks to Basics. We are here with Amanda Kreiner, who is my podcast pal. Today we are doing Q&A with J&A. So we're answering questions live and also ones that we have, but I think a lot of these questions people have, they ask repeatedly over and over and over and over again. So hopefully this helps you guys out. We're going to start. I have a list of questions first, and then we're going to kind of go to the live and see what people are asking. So for future, if you guys have any questions or interested in the podcast, you can also go to Barks to Basics on Instagram and you can ask questions there in the comment section and we will answer these. We do these once a month, so we will answer those too. All right, so I haven't read any of these. I just saw them come through. So let's see. Hello, Amanda.
Hello.
We missed our last Q&A with J&A last month, so we have to make up for it this month. I have a Basenji puppy, 11 weeks old. I've tried starting training her, but the moment I sit on the ground with a treat in my hand, she goes absolutely crazy. She's jumping up at my hand and I can't get her to calm down enough to focus any suggestions. This is actually this happens.
Very common.
All the time. Very common. I was just doing a virtual with a client and same thing. She's sitting on the floor and all with the treat and all the puppy is like jumping up all over her. So a couple things. You can't see me. And then Amanda, you can, I'll give one. Sometimes I'll sit on like a chair with the treat, not on the floor. So I feel like when you sit on the floor, sometimes it's like an invitation to the dog to just jump all over you, but also it's like a little dog. So you have to bend down if it's a little dog to kind of help them. So sometimes I'll like sit in the chair with a treat to teach them a skill. And I've also found that you have to be like really fast sometimes. So even if you're trying to do like a watch me cue, which is like that focus cue, you kind of have to be like, watch, treat, like what, like getting those
so fast.
So what would you suggest? I don't know if you've had any like new puppies in Fort Lauderdale recently, but that is like a thing with them being so little.
All of our puppies are new in Fort Lauderdale. So yeah, my first thing, like when you read the question, I was like, stand up. That's your number one. When you're on your dog's level, that's like so exciting to be able to see your face because they're usually like 5 feet below you. So stand up. True. If you don't use the chair option and you're standing up, a really good option is like a Target stick or like a paint stick. Like we'll use a paint stick, we'll put peanut butter on it. We'll just like put our hand down to reinforce. That way you're not having to bend over all the time. And if you're going to be standing up and you have a little, even like big dogs, you don't have to feed them to their mouth with your hand. Drop the treat on the floor and that's going to help with them jumping anyway because that's going to be a problem with your little dog. Every single little dog jumps. Yes. So stand up, drop the treats on the floor to reinforce.
Yeah, I think it's also, people get crazy. Like when I will sometimes throw a treat away from the dog for them to reset and come back. And, people will comment, I don't want to teach my dog to like pick up stuff on the floor. I can tell you, we do this with like most of our dogs, even my dog at home. He's not like looking to find, like they're smarter than that.
It doesn't transition to that.
He's not like picking up rocks because he thinks it's a treat and like.
I wouldn't do that. Like if your dog's already doing that as a problem behavior, I probably wouldn't say drop the treat on the floor. But if they're not, it's not something that I've noticed like.
It's more the chase that's fun for the dog.
Yes.
The chase of getting the treat and coming back than actually there's something on the floor.
Right.
It's just like a ball. Like
and you're throwing it's a treat too.
You're throwing a ball on the floor.
Yeah.
So why are you throwing toys on the floor? Aren't you teaching your dog to pick up things on the floor? I just thought of that now.
Yeah.
People.
Fun fact, I do have some clients where they're like, my dog doesn't eat off the floor. And I'm like, okay, liar, whatever. I have like Shadow will not eat if you put the treat on the floor. She's like, she'll literally look at you and be like, ew.
She's too good for
and
that.
then she'll eat it from your hand 2 seconds later. Okay. I'm like, girl.
So that's good. But I will say it does not translate in that way. Yeah. So you can stand up or you can bend down with your puppy. Okay. I love that though, because you're like, oh, do this, practice this. And then the owner tries to do it and the dog's like all over them with the treat. Maybe just, you can also use like kibble or something like a little bit lower value to start with. I love that though. Okay. My Australian Shepherd barks and sprints to the door and body slams it every time we leave the house. Do you have any suggestions on how I can get her to stop hating closed doors? She also freaks out when we, close bathroom doors, bedroom doors, literally any door. Goes absolutely berserk. Thanks. I can tell you why this started, but what would be your...
So I would ask, is it translated to just any door that's closed? She's curious as to what's behind it, or is it when like you're in the bathroom and you close the door, or you're in the bedroom, you close the door? So I would say if that's the case, if it's when you're on the opposite side of whichever door it is, give her something to do. So if you leave, like a couple minutes before you leave, get a snuffle mat ready, get some peanut butter, like put it on, whatever surface she's in. If she's in her, well, obviously not in her crate, but get it on a surface where she can focus on that. You're leaving, going behind the door, shut the door. She finishes that, listen from the other side. If she's quiet, go back in and throw a party. Her reinforcement.
I feel like it's when they leave, right? She hates closed doors. So yeah, Carly, if you're listening and you can like write on this or write on the chat, because if it is when you leave, I would say, first of all, I'm already thinking like, are you using a crate? Give her something, like put her in the crate when you leave. If you used to use it, bring it back, put her in a crate, like have a different routine. Like now her routine is her slamming her body on. So maybe a crate. Also, like Amanda said, give her something great to do before you're leaving, or sometimes I'll even like chuck a bunch of treats on the floor and then leave. If you have a camera, see if she's panicking or it's just like the act of you leaving. I would also ask how much separation you have had from this dog. Like, do you work from home? Are you home with the dog all the time? Like how much separation? Like Finley now, he'll actually, which I love, he'll take like whatever bone we give him and he's gone. He goes to chew it in Grayson's room because like when we first got him, we like paired her with him. So he always had bones in there, or he'll go into like the playroom. So he's always away from us chewing stuff. And I love that he's like confident enough and like doesn't need us. He wants like the other thing. So I guess, Carly, there would be a couple more like questions, follow-up questions on that. Yeah. I'll see if she says anything.
You mentioned camera. I just sponsor us Furbo, but Furbo is such a good option for your dog.
Oh, you love that.
I love my Furbo camera. So one, you see your dog when you leave. So I'm a nut and I'm like, is she safe? Is she good? Right? Or right now she just had knee surgery. So it's like I can monitor that. But also we had to put her in like a small little suite like we made in our living room, because she couldn't be jumping on the bed when we were gone, because we don't crate her when we're gone. And I used the Furbo camera to watch her, but it also spits treats out. So when she would stop crying, I'd spit a treat out to reinforce her. So you can actually use it as a training tool too. So your dog's, she's not going after the door, or she calms down for a second, spit a treat out. So she starts to train that way without you even being there. So love Furbo. Furbo is a really good option for that.
Furbo, where are you? Yeah. I don't use that. I have cameras in my house everywhere. If you come into my house, I'm recording you. But sorry.
So you watch me while I'm babysitting.
Not in the bathroom. No, I don't. I've had them since they were a baby. Now they're just there, and now I'll wait until Grayson's 18 and she can.
Yikes.
No, but it's more for like security. But I should get one of those because I like the idea of being able to like reinforce them when you're not home. So Carly, if you get back to us, let us know. Okay. My puppy keeps urinating inside my house when he gets to free roam. I take him outside every 1 to 2 hours during the day. He is crate trained. Will hold his urine during the night. Here's more. Despite all of our efforts, he does not even try to go to the door when he free roams. He will go wherever he is during the moment. It's so frustrating. Please help. I reward with high value treats. So when he goes outside and prays, but still doesn't even go to the door on his own.
Is this like pottying, free roaming when you're gone?
No, I think when they're home. When they're home, but it says puppy, so I would say he's getting too much freedom.
Yeah, I was gonna say too much space.
If they're
slowly make it bigger as they can hold their bladder.
My puppies, my board and train puppies, my regular puppies, they're never free roaming. There's no like free roaming happening. So you want to make sure you can't watch the puppy. And like you said, he doesn't go in the crate. So we need to like hold the dog account, like keep the dog in the crate when you can't watch the dog. I mean,
I feel like that's the biggest complaint with potty training is my dog pees all the time. And it's like, it's so much management. It's not really like training. It's fully managing it. Like if you don't have eyes on your dog, they need to be in the crate or take them outside. You know what I mean? So it's a lot harder work than people remember, I think, when they get new puppies.
Yes. I do want to, I don't know if you want to we should grab that and look. Do you know how to look? Because I don't know how to go live on this because it's me. That's live. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not going to show me live. Okay, so we're looking on some. And I have other ones too let me try and find them. People were going crazy on this one post. Let me see. Sorry, podcast peeps, if you're sitting. Oh, I had a client today that came to me in Jupiter with her shepherd. Shout out. I forget her first name. I think the dog was Misha. I don't know. She did think I was a celebrity. She said she came in and she's probably listening to this. She came in and said, "You're a celebrity." She was so excited. And I tell Hiram this all the time. He thinks I'm crazy. And she was so excited. And she said, I was so happy. She listened to mine and Cheryl's podcast with reactivity. Yeah. And she said her shepherd is reactive. She was using a prong collar and doing all the wrong things. And she listened and she was like, this is what I need. And she signed up in Jupiter.
Oh, I love that.
Right?
Yay. That's so good for her and her dog. That's
I know. Okay. So is there anything?
Yes. So, sorry guys, you're getting close up of my face on TikTok. So, how do I get my little guy to not bark at other dogs?
Oh, well, I feel like we need... so they probably haven't had enough experience with other dogs, right? Other little dogs. Yeah. I would say you have to bring food. So I think it's any trainers, by the way, guys, that you hire that tells you not to use food, like fire them and run away because it's so like not, here, we can maybe while I'm talking and then we'll switch to when you're talking and then go back. Okay. I'm getting ahead of myself. So I bark at other dogs. So I would say one of the biggest things is you have to bring food. So any trainer that tells you not to use food, get rid of them because that is how dogs learn. That's how they're reinforced. So you want to make sure you're using food. I would say it depends how bad they're barking. I mean, this could be like a total reactivity case that we have to you definitely want to work like below threshold. It could be like just one of those little yappy dogs that once you kind of bring out the food and have basic skills, I would say we need more information. Also, just so everyone knows who's listening too, we do virtual sessions all over the world. So we really have a wealth of information that you can like talk to us and we can help you with. But what would you say, you're on the phone with a client and they say, oh, you have a little dog. This is the...
So I have been really utilizing for my reactive dogs, whether it's like frustration or it's just like they're over socialized and they're so excited to go play with this other dog. I've been using the rule of 3. So first step is they're staring at that dog, whether they're barking, lunging, they're having an emotional response. You're just treating them the entire time. Again, you're not reinforcing those undesired behaviors. It's like I always say, you're watching a scary movie and you're eating popcorn. It's like that comfort food. Eventually, you can do step 2, which is the dog's going to start looking at you, expecting, oh, I feel these emotions. I'm really excited or I'm frustrated. I get treats. And they turn and they look at you. Then you're treating them for looking away. Then step 3, you can close in and get closer to that other dog if you're working on that kind of thing, or just start working on obedience, or they finally start looking at you, praise them, and they want to go play and it's a safe environment. Let them go play as their reinforcement. So that way you're bringing down that emotional response first for your dog because they're barking for a reason, and usually they're just they don't understand how to deal with excitement or frustration, or they're scared. So either way, using that rule where you're creating that association and then they're actually turning to you and actually able to like trust you and things like that, that's going to help the dog.
I feel like reactivity is like so hard to give advice to, like just on the fly, because you could be like, oh,
You
use
never
food.
know.
Like it's so hard. You have to know like what the threshold is. Like we can tell. I would say even like just talking with a professional that knows what they're doing. Like I said, even like a virtual session, we can gain so much information and then know like it could be that puppy on the leash that's just a frustrated greeter. Like there's so many more questions.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, and even the steps you gave are the steps you want to take, but to just tell an owner that, it's like so hard for them to be able to.
It's timing and stuff like that too. So definitely like seek professional help. But if you can't, and if you can't afford it because it can be pricey, just treat your dog the entire time. You'll notice that they're going to start calming down.
Yes.
And looking to you for, okay, what do I do? And that's the relationship that you want to have with them.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, go ahead.
All right, next question. Where do you start with a 5-month-old who's scared of everything, especially in the car?
So, the podcast video and this video are probably so whacked. And then I'll switch it back to Amanda. So I would say 5-month-old puppy sounds to me, either you got the dog late. If you've had the dog from 8 weeks old, that means you're probably a little bit under socialized, or it could be the DNA. But if he's scared of everything, that is not normal for a 5-month-old puppy. It's not normal for any puppy, right? Any puppies really, just say 6 months younger, like they're like happy-go-lucky, bopping around. There should not be any of these issues going on with a 5-month-old puppy. So in the car, I would say like maybe bring a lick mat. Again, these like things are like you have to seek professional help with something like this because, who is this? Brandy? Because it's too complicated for you to just like help. Like
it's not straightforward.
It's not straightforward. There's so many more like questions. Like I always tell like dogs that come to school, clients that come to school, I tell the dogs too, but I'm like, obedience is the easy part. That's easy. Like teaching your dog to walk nice on a leash, all of that stuff's easy.
But you can't do that if you have these behavioral issues.
Correct. But teaching your dog to walk on a leash that's afraid, you're not going to be able to do it. You have to first work on the behavior problem. So you can try making sure you're not pushing your puppy to do anything they don't want to do. Don't let them be pet by strangers, all of those things. But also you want to make sure that you're not, you're doing things to help, like bring a licky mat in the car with like peanut butter, cream cheese, like something to build that association. So dogs learn from association. So same with negative, right? If they get a correction, like every time they see this other dog, they're going to start not liking this other dog. So that's why we always want to use things that we can pair together with the dog that they would like. So for a puppy, again, that's kind of a hard question for 5 months old. You may want to, again, I'm not just saying this, but like contact us virtually because we can at least help you. You do not want to get into somebody that's like going to cause correction or something like that. Not even chances. You have already missed your socialization period, right? So you can be dealing with so many different things, and it can be tough. It's tough. That's like, those are hard. You guys are asking hard questions.
I know. Good questions though.
My puppy is 9 weeks old. He seems to be confused. Okay, my puppy is 9 weeks old, and he seems to be confused with everything. We've only had him a week.
I can just picture. So I'm at work this morning. We have this 10-week-old golden retriever, this little fluffy, crimpy little Archie. His first day was today, and I'm just picturing him because we have gates that separate each room, and I'm opening the gate. And like you would think he would see the opening and go out that side. He's every single time I open a gate this morning, going to the part on the hinge and just staring and like clawing. And he's like, I step to the other side and I'm like, Archie, come on. And he's like, I can't get to you. I'm like, dude, it's open. Like I'm like moving my hand over. He's looking at my hand on the other side of the gate.
So funny.
And that's what I'm picturing. It's like just a confused, like all over the
So a week is not a long time to have a dog. So they are confused. They're still learning. It's like if I dropped you off in like this maze and you're just like, what is going on? Everything's like big. They're confused. Take things slow. Licky mats, snuffle mats, bully sticks, crate time. Make sure you're utilizing the crate, guys. I can't say that more. Like, when you get a new puppy, wouldn't that be your number one? Because I know
for sure.
Raja like
For sure.
doesn't. I mean, at least you have gates and stuff that you can use, but it's like one way that you can be able to confine your puppy and make sure they get breaks. Puppies sleep 16 to 18 hours a day. So just think about that. It's kind of like anybody that does have kids. It's like if you don't, babies they sleep like 3 naps a day, right? Then they could be long naps. Sometimes they're 2-3 hour naps and then all the way at night. So for puppies too, when they're that little, they sleep 16 to 18 hours. So just think about that. If they sleep, say they sleep 10 hours at night.
He's probably just asleep,
You
a little confused.
Yeah. You still have 6 hours in the day that your dog needs a forced break. They need to be able to sleep without, like, not in the middle of the living room, I always tell people, like, I mean, I could nap sometimes, but you don't want to be watching the Super Bowl and like lay on the carpet and take your nap when you're exhausted.
Right.
So you want to make sure that you have that. Take it slow with him. Let him get adjusted for at least another week. Shuffle mats, bully sticks, things to do. Anything you would add for this confused? You probably see confused pups at school.
I mean, yeah. I mean, everything you said too. I think that the dogs that you start using the puzzles and stuff really young are the dogs that have a little bit better like control over their emotions, over their environment. Like they're more socialized and desensitized to different noises and things like that too. Like it could be not just confusion. He might be scared, you know, like you might just be like, what is happening? Right. So anything that you do creating associations now is going to help them out. So I definitely think
thousand
the more the merrier with that kind of fun stuff.
Okay, let's see.
Scroll upwards towards the top. There was more questions. Yeah, the bottom there wasn't any.
Hold on. I just saw a bunch. Sorry, guys. Amanda didn't know you can TikTok.
Public service announcement. I don't love social media. I don't. So I deleted my TikTok because I never go on it. It's taking up space on my phone, and I just got a lecture because now I can't re-download it. Sorry.
Should I start training him now or wait till he's more used to our home? You could start right away, right? Right away, you can start with the boundaries. You can start with sits, basic skills right away. At 8 weeks old, when those babies come home, you're not going to get very long. Like you might get 2 minutes or so with the dog, but like be able to focus. But you definitely want to. I want you to like scroll on this for a sec.
Okay.
Sorry, podcast peeps. I want to. There was some crazy questions that. Okay, I have to find.
I have
Do you have something? Yeah, go ahead.
Why would, so not what to do, but why would my dog be so reactive and scared on walks? Was he exposed too much too young? He's 2 years now.
Oh, so what do you think?
That's kind of a loaded question. I mean, it could be. You could have, well socialized your dog, and then all of a sudden they go through their second fear period and they're not getting that same positive association. Like exposure is one thing, but
what does well socialized mean? What does that mean? Like
exposure is one thing, but when you're exposing your dog, are you creating something positive? Are you giving them the food? Are you giving them the stuff mats? I'm sorry, people. Praising your dog and petting your dog is not going to create a positive association. There are those rare few dogs that will come up and slam against you and want that kind of attention as praise, but you have to make sure that when they were being exposed, you were doing something to create more excitement over those things. So it could have been an overexposure without creating that, because we do see that a lot. I feel like, I took him to the park, they were fine, there was dogs, or a fire truck passed and they didn't react. Like, well, were they not reacting? Or did they shut down because they were scared? Because that's also not reacting. You have to really be careful on that and knowing what kind of socialization or exposure.
Well, I think people think exposure is socializing.
Right.
I think
which is
that's
two different things, I feel like.
The problem is you think you're socializing, so you're bringing your dogs around a lot of other dogs and people, and you have a puppy and you're passing them to all these strangers. Well, what if your puppy does not like to be like with strangers.
I did that with Raja. The day after we got her, we went to, like, we had an outing, was at someone's house with friends, and she was already, I wish I would have known more about dogs when I got her 11 years ago, but stuck to me, wouldn't leave me, didn't want to go to anyone else, and she was sleeping, and I was passing her around, and my dog does not like strangers now, and I'm like, gosh darn it was probably my fault. So
because you don't think that, you think you're exposing and doing the right thing. And I think socializing your dog is like a loaded term, because I really don't think people think that's what it means. I actually want to like say this too, like, not that we stopped doing puppy classes, because we still do puppy classes, but the problem with puppy classes is that I was seeing, and I tried everything. I tried small dog, big dog, small dog puppy classes, big dog puppy classes, because what was happening is a puppy class is supposed to be from 8 to 16 weeks. 8 to 16 weeks, you have the puppy. So anybody can join from 8 to 16 weeks. So now I have a Maltese that's 3 pounds, and I have a German Shepherd that's already 12, 13, 14 pounds. Same age, right? The same skills. The little guy is scared to death, or the big guy, whichever. And now the puppy class, and my puppy classes were always off leash, by the way. Puppy classes should be off leash. If you're listening to this and you're going to like a Petco, PetSmart, whatever, they do not have off leash classes. I think it's great that people are doing something with their dog. I don't think it's great that like the dog's not getting that off leash exposure. So the puppies 8 to 16. So what was happening is now I'm like separating. So they're off leash. I'm separating the room so that, the scared puppy. And then I've always tell owners, just keep them on your lap. So all this like stuff is happening. And I'm like, this is not what the dog's exposure should be like. Like now this Maltese is going through 5 weeks of class being scared because he's not paired with the dog that he should be paired with.
Because one dog is going to be able to be socialized differently than the next dog. It depends on their temperament, and if they are already starting to show any sort of behaviors, if they're maybe just a quieter, more calm dog versus a super stoked little 8-week-old lab puppy that's running around like a nut job, you know? So I feel like like that's hard. Like when I think about doing that, I'm like, that gives me a little bit of anxiety doing a class with a bunch of different temperaments of puppies, because you can tell one owner one thing and, do this with your dog. Everyone else is going to be listening because it's a class, but their dog might be in a completely different state of mind.
And I loved puppy class because you get like strangers working with different puppy. Like I would have all the owners like, all right, every dog ask them for a sit. Like every single dog do a wash. So now the dog's getting all this practice. It's just when it comes to like temperament and again, exposure versus socializing, you're not really, and everyone's like, I socialize him. Like socializing means I'm going to like a party. I'm going to a place. I'm going to something that's reinforcing to me. It's not something like, if you hate getting pedicures and I keep getting you for your gift, like a pedicure gift certificate, you're going to be like,
you one of those. You like those, right?
I do like
okay,
those.
good.
I use, but you know what I mean? It's not going to be very reinforcing to me. You're going to be like, or if I'm like, for your birthday, I'm taking you out for dinner. And you're like, I really hate going out to dinner. I don't like other people making my food. So you have to find what's reinforcing for your own dogs, or it's not going to work.
Yeah.
I kind of got a little bit crazy on that one. Okay. My 7-month-old male lab keeps jumping every time we go for a walk. Do you have any recommendations on how to improve or stop this behavior? Oh, humping, not jumping.
Oh, I was like, wait, jumping on what? Humping what? Is he humping you? Humping other dogs on the walk? Like, what's going on?
I don't know. That's kind of like, I'm not sure about this question. Again, sometimes we love like questions, but sometimes you guys will ask them, even if you ask them for the podcast, give as much information. Then I say that and then I get like books worth. I need to know the age. I need to know so I was going to answer the jumping part, which was don't come close enough. If your dog jumps on people during a walk, if you don't go close enough, they physically cannot do that. And then if they're at the end of the leash, they're like, wait a second, I can't say hi to my friend on the walk. And you can say, I was thinking of a name. I always use Sally. And then I was trying to think of a different name because I always use Sally. I was going to say Sally, sit. And then anyway, Sally, sit, and then they sit, and then they can say hi. But if you are close enough that they can jump, then you can't do that. Now, humping, I'm like confused.
So
up on me and humping every time we go for a walk.
Okay, so I had a therapy dog evaluation a few months ago, and one of the dogs, he was excellent with everything, but we didn't pass him because he would get excited and redirect on the owner and humping.
Oh, yeah?
And not redirecting like biting, that's what a lot of people think, but redirecting and like humping the crap out of his dad. And the dad would just like, oh my God, he does this all the time. Every time I come home or every time I do this. Or they would be doing a greeting, walking up to another person with a dog. We make the dog sit, stay, not approach each other. And he would like want to greet, but he wouldn't because he knew he wasn't supposed to. And he would turn and hump his dad. And we actually didn't pass him because one, it can make people uncomfortable. Like they don't understand that it's just like overstimulation, right? So I had to explain to him, he's overstimulated right now. We need to kind of lower that emotional response so he's more comfortable. He's basically just saying, like, think of like people when you're going down a roller coaster, you're like, oh, that's what he's feeling. And the only thing the dogs know how to do is bite, bark, jump, hump. Like those are usually what they do when they're overstimulated. So it could be you're taking your dog on a walk. They're just so stoked to be out there that's that response that you're getting is a hump turning on you and doing that. And then in some way, shape, or form, you have probably reinforced that behavior by talking to them or even pushing them down is a way you can reinforce them. So
I'm wondering if she's bringing food.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be your next step is like start training.
Food on your walk, start training. Don't go for long walks. Go right outside your house. Just come for, just go out and sit, like really basic things so that your dog doesn't practice that. But also the jumping. This one was how to stop my dog from jumping on me and other people. Again, I need more information. Is it when people come in the house? Like I've posted so many videos of dogs when you come in the house, there's like, you can give them a snuffle mat. You can like throw some food. And as soon as they come back, you can like start working them. You can do clicker. You can completely ignore. If everyone would remember that dogs only repeat behaviors that are reinforced, dogs are not stupid. So they are going to like, if they get nothing, if you're like a statue, the dog's not going to keep coming. Like how many dogs hump statues?
The least reinforcing thing you can do to an animal or a person is absolutely nothing. Give them zero attention.
Isn't it?
Right. Like
fighting with your husband and they just start nothing.
I'm like, hello. Like, yes. But that's how it works. Like absolutely. We did that with the dolphins. No response. You do something negative, they will remember that. And it also doesn't teach them. It tells them what not to do, but it doesn't teach them what to do. So that's why positive reinforcement, you teach them what you want. So you do absolutely nothing. The second they do the right thing, which literally could just be standing there staring at you, boom, you give them a treat.
I think the problem is everyone thinks they need to like correct that behavior like in the moment. I had a guy today that the dog was like a year old, so cute. And I can always tell if the dog is still jumping that somebody's either correcting it or giving attention to it.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're still jumping.
Yeah.
So I said, what do you do? What do you do when they're jumping? Oh, I knee it. I push them down. I tell them off. I tell them no. Well, is that working? Because he just jumped on me like 5 times when he walked in the room. And then I show him me just standing there.
Yeah.
Waiting for the dog to sit. He sits, he gets paid.
Yeah.
He sit, and then literally in seconds, it's like kind of crazy when you are a dog trainer and know like what you're doing, because people think that it's like magic. Like they literally do.
They so do. Like,
right?
When you make like, especially when you do like analogies and you make it in like Latin terms, is that how you say it? Latin terms? Whatever. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not an English major. Yeah,
but you say some big words.
I do.
Latin, I think that's what it is.
Isn't it? Yeah. Layman's term. There we go. Layton's. Oh God. Then they're like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. And like in your mind, you're like, well, no shit. Like, but because we study it, we do that. But sometimes it's not magic, guys. It's literally just breaking it down.
But they think it's like this dog today. So he was going to get a refund. Never been to us before. He was going to get a refund. He had a 1-year-old dog. We're like, the dog needs day training. The dog needs to be socialized, off leash, and trained with other dogs, one-on-one, blah, blah, blah. So he comes in and he's had all his research and the dog's jumped. He's like, see, blah, blah, blah. And I like stood there and he sat and I paid the dog. And he sat and I paid the dog. And then the dog's just like coming up to me and sitting. And the guy was literally like, oh my God. Like, and it's not even like the videos I do on social media. People are right. Let's do a dog that's not trained or staged. I'm like, guys,
aren't dogs.
I don't even know these
record
dogs.
her on the spot. This woman will chuck her phone at me and be like, record this. And I'm like, oh, geez, okay. And then I'm recording it. Like,
because I want,
it's in the moment.
Yeah, I want in the moment stuff. But also, I know I'm not the like best trainer. I make like mistakes on timing and stuff like that. It's more about knowing how you get to what you want is by paying your dog for those good choices. It's not by, this is,
Are you
I'm
answering the
I'm
phone?
live on my podcast, so
Hi,
I'll call you back,
Mom.
okay? No, I'm not. Love you. Bye. No, it's my daughter.
Oh, it's Grayson.
Yeah.
I do want to point out one thing that always makes me.
See, on podcast, you can do that.
I know. I'm like, you just answer
No,
your
I did
phone.
not answer for my husband.
When you said they tell their dogs off, down, think about it, you guys. Your dogs are blank slates. They were born however long ago, and have you ever once taught them what off, down, stop, or quit means? No. So oftentimes the reason why owners don't see success is because they're saying things that you just like expect your dog to know, and they don't. The only way that they will get off when you say off is if you teach them to get off. The only way to teach them no and then be like, oh my gosh, I gotta stop, is by pairing it with something aversive or yelling or raising your voice and scaring them. So like keep that in mind in how you speak to your dog, because a lot of times we'll like leave it's a big one. I get caught sometimes saying leave it and like, oh crap, this is an 8-week-old puppy, we haven't even started that yet. Like keep that in mind when you are working with dog, especially on jump and things like, or jumping and things like that.
It's just like natural to want to say.
Yeah. And
I usually tell people too, I truly don't. I don't say no when training. Like,
yeah, I don't remember the last time I said no.
I don't remember the last time. And people think it's permissive. I'll be like, like if they're like chewing on stuff, come on, let's go out, or they're like having it. But I don't say no, because it's like no information to, if I just said no to you, you're like, what? Stop talking. Do you want me to get up? Like, no, don't
like,
stop.
no.
Like, what do you want me to do? It's always better to tell your dog what you want them to do. What were we even talking about before that? What was the question? Jumping. Okay.
Yeah. Jumping.
Jumping.
Jumping and humping.
How to stop from jumping. Jumping and humping. That's what this
that'll be a
podcast
good
is about.
episode.
Yes. Q&A. Jumping and humping. We can just leave it at that.
Love it.
So this one I would have to say from, they're a top fan too. It's in, I don't know what, it's in a different language, but hi there. There's a trend towards giving dogs natural food, not giving them dry food or pellets. What do you think about this issue? So any food related questions, same if you guys have a trainer that's giving you food related questions. I can tell you like what I feed my dog. Like I feed my dog Blue Buffalo. I have fed it for years. For me, it's not grain free or anything like that. But for me, it's just like worked well at my dogs. I can get it anywhere. It's at Publix, at here, at there. My dogs have lived really long on it. They haven't had any so there's so many better foods and other things out there. I will crumble like freeze dried treats on it, and I will give them different like things, but that just works for me. Like for somebody else. So if somebody asked me what I use, but I don't know if that's right for your dog.
I mean, I use a wow, I can't talk.
Prescription.
A prescription.
Were you drinking me for?
I wish. I was like, dang. Now I'm just thinking about that.
That would be a good
All
podcast.
I know. So what were we talking about?
I was going to say drinking. What you feed your dogs.
Oh, yes. I give Raj a prescription food, but that's only, I give her Hill Science diet, but only because she's getting older and her kidneys and things, her levels have been higher. But before that, I did Blue Buffalo too. So, I mean, I think it's personal preference. I don't think like you should ever feel like you have to give your dog like fresh food or you have to cook for your dog. I mean, dogs live a very long time, and there are some dogs like that live 19 years old and they eat kibble every single day.
Oreo is 16. Ritz is 15 now. I think talk to your veterinarian.
For sure.
They have a lot of like insight on that, but I refrain from, again, I'll tell somebody what I feed, but I also was, excuse me, using a really expensive dog food at one point for my new rescue. I was like, I'm going to feed him the best food that lasted like 6 months. And I was like, this shit is expensive.
Yeah, it is.
I am not like.
Also, too, like your dogs sometimes are really not getting the nutrients that they need when you do that kind of stuff. Like you really do need to talk to your vet because they literally like could be missing out.
Yeah.
On
And there's a lot of research out on that too.
Yeah.
Oh, so Joy did say, if I can't make it at 4, how can I watch later? I'll have to answer on here. But you guys, just so you know, anybody that's on the live, we do try to do live when we do our podcast, just because I think it's like an extra feature and we do get like questions and stuff. But you can always hear it at Barks to Basics on our podcast, which we're almost like finished with right now. But I just want to see. So I'm going to end with this. We have like 5 minutes left. This post drives me crazy. There are so many people that are not educated about how training works versus shock collars and all these things. And these were like comments. And we'll go through we can obviously go through a whole thing. This one person said, and I just absolutely use a shock collar. The dog needs to learn its place in the pecking order. I was like,
idiot.
It needs to learn to not bite.
Idiot. In the what order? Seriously? Okay, people.
Get educated. The e-collar is a tool. Learn about that tool. Growling
Whoever
is
said
giving
that. Applause. You guys, the pack mentality, your dog is not a wolf. They are two separate things. Look it up, right? You cannot tame a wolf. A lot of people have a hard time having wolves as pets because they have a pack mentality.
Don't get a wolf as a pet.
Yeah, don't do that, but some people do. They think it's cool. But they're not dogs. Dogs, it's not the pack mentality. And the only reason to way to show your dog that like you're the dominant one is by using aversive techniques. So you're going to get some undesired behaviors coming from that, and your dog's probably going to bite you.
So, it's crazy. And we love all at one. Somebody said, shut up at one.
To us?
Love you. No, this was for one of the shock collar posts. Literally, shut up. Love you too. Kindness counts, people. That's what I always say.
I'm sorry. Yeah. You're not an idiot.
So listen how crazy this is. So my rescue I got, he was like a year old. So I don't know like what happened like before that. So last night, Finley's in my son's room and he's like laying on the bed and Braden's like loving it. But he's laying there like, it was odd. Like I opened the door, I'm asking him for a treat. He would not get out of the bedroom. So I walk out, my husband and his friend were there. And I said, did anything happen? Did he get like scared of anything? They're like, no, he was just loving being, this is how also, not how clueless, but how clueless. Like, so, no, he was just loving being in Braden's room. I'm like, yeah, but he'll go in there. But then like I open the door, I'm offering treats, will come out. So I tell my daughter, try and get him out. Come on, treats, nothing. I'm like, something is wrong here. Something is wrong. So go outside and they're sitting outside, like having a glass of wine. And why do I have one of these at my house still? The bug zapper.
The swatter thing?
No, that goes zzz. Okay. Kind of like a shock collar, but it kills bugs.
Did it scare little Finners?
So I walk, I go, nothing happened, guys, because sometimes when they have the like wood fire, he doesn't, and they're like, no, he was like fine. And then I'm like, I look and I'm like, it's the fucking zapper.
Do you have like the lamp that does it, or like you swat
it's like the blue lamp thing. The bugs fly in there and it like kills them. And so, which I don't feel bad about, but I unplug it. And now we like have to coerce him. We had to like, cause he had to go potty. It was like at night. So we had to like carry him out and he was like,
he'd never heard it before.
Shaking, or he's heard it or heard some kind of noise like that before that was aversive to him.
Yeah,
is like what I thought of.
How old was he when you got him?
He was a little bit over a year, they think.
Oh, okay.
So like even those sounds, we've had it out before. So, but if that sound was something of correction that like a previous owner did or something, or just the noise, like he was so terrified. So all the dog needs is like one correction from any of these things to
backtrack.
be like totally.
I feel like too, like I don't have kids, but like I would not put a shock collar on my kid. Like there's reasons that people that you go to jail when you like hit your kid nowadays. Like it's the same thing with the animal. It's a living thing. Yeah, it's a living thing. Like if you wouldn't do that to someone in your family, why would you do it to an animal that is supposed to be a part of your family that you're caring for?
Yeah,
I don't
doesn't make sense.
Understand people.
We love, these are like, for me, some of my favorite segments because I do answer these questions all the time.
Let's end on a positive.
Let's end on a positive note. Do not use the bud zapper if your dog is afraid. And
that's so random.
No, seriously, if you guys have questions, you need to go to, so you can ask them on TikTok or Instagram, but on the Barks to Basic Instagram, that's where we will see a lot of the questions.
Because Amanda doesn't have a TikTok and I can't read those questions
Now Amanda can't read them until everything's cleared up with TikTok. By the way, if you're on TikTok, follow us on Instagram too.
Yeah.
You can find us on our podcast, Barks to Basics, anywhere where you can hear podcasts. And I've been much better now. You can also see it on video. So I've been better at taking the videos to getting them on YouTube as well. So you can watch us if you rather watch us on YouTube, but Spotify, Audible, anywhere podcasts are heard. I want to thank Amanda again. It is lonely when I'm by myself, so I love when Amanda's here. We have some good stuff coming up, but thank you again for listening, for watching. Thank you, TikTok. So definitely make sure you follow us at Dynamite Dog Training, also at Barks to Basics, at Lucky Dog Training Club. You can find us all there, but thanks again. We'll see you next time.